What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Bars. I've got my girl, KOC, right next to me. How's it going?
It's going good. I've got energy. I didn't have AC for a couple weeks and now I got it, kinda. And so I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping, so I'm happy. Life's good. It's just simple things. How are you doing?
That is truly the worst thing is when you have to sleep in hot weather.
It's
like
so
I like
bad.
to be in an igloo to sleep.
Mhm.
Like I want to wear hoodies even though it's 100 out.
Peak happiness is like a freezing room and a cozy bed. Like that's
Yeah.
peak sleep for me.
I agree. Well, I'm glad one of us got sleep because I went on a red eye. I was in New York, then I went to Arizona for my family, and I feel disheveled. People watching on YouTube will see I look disheveled. And I finally got coffee an hour ago, and it's 3 p.m. right now.
Oh,
And I got
wow.
something to eat. And then after this, I'm going to run to Costco.
Oh,
So it just went full house mode when I got home.
nice.
Michael did a good job. He was here all week. He cleaned up the best he could. But when it comes to like grocery shopping, that's not his forte.
No.
No.
But to come home and then once you have that clean home, stocked fridge, you're going to go to
Right?
bed and you'll just be like so satisfied going to bed.
I know. And we haven't even watched House of Dragons, the ending. It's been weeks. So I'm like, if I can stay awake though, this is what one of my hot takes was going to be red eyes are the fucking worst. They truly are like Satan's butthole for anybody that's not flying first class lying down, right? If you're flying first class lying down, cry me river.
Yeah.
But when you're smushed in between people and you don't have a neck pillow and you can barely recline, but then I was really thinking about the recliner the whole time because I know people think that's rude, right? And at one point my arms were on like my tray table and the person in front of me reclined and smushed my head. Nice wake up call.
Classic. I feel that's like the best representation of like money buys you happiness is like flying in a plane, because rich people, it's like the best life hack. You take a red eye and it's like you're productive while you sleep. You fly across the world while you sleep, versus us average people who have to take economy. It's like, oh, I'm going to die sooner because I'm pulling an all-nighter. So it's just like
I'm like, you
biggest, like, wealth
contemplate
gap.
your life and like you're like tossing and turning maybe you're probably getting like a minute of sleep every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But you know what my hack is? Do you I want to know what you do.
Yes.
When I want to fall asleep on a plane, I don't watch TV. What I do is I put in a podcast, specifically The Office Ladies, because I like the voice. It's very I used to fall asleep to The Office show and I don't have to like be watching it, because if I watch it, I'll be too intrigued and then I'll stay awake. So if I just listen to a boring podcast of them, they like recap the episodes of The Office, it puts me out within like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's a good hack. That's a good
Right?
hack.
What's yours? What do you do to fall asleep?
Mine, on the planes, I like have a very in-depth routine because I have to travel so much and I'm not traveling in business class. But my rough, very fast version is I wake up really early the day of, so I'm exhausted by the time the plane comes, and so that way I'm like so tired. And I find noise doesn't affect me, or light. It is the laying down. Like as long as I can lay down, I can sleep anywhere. So it's just like getting comfy. And I wear sunglasses. I know it sounds crazy, but like
Not
in
a
the
sleep mask?
no, like in the airport, I wear sunglasses. So it's like there's no bright lights. So it like kind of tricks your brain that it's like nighttime versus being like bright lights. So like if you see me 3 p.m. in an airport sunglasses, I'm not hiding from anyone. I'm just like trying to, obey my circadian clock. And so that's my hack. And then I wear an eye mask on the plane. And I just sometimes I'll put noise canceling headphones on if it's like there's a crying baby. But honestly, I just close my eyes and I accept that, I might not fall asleep, but at least my eyes have been closed for the last 4 hours. And I used to be so paranoid about it, but now I just kind of accept that it's an all-nighter. And if I manage to get 5 minutes of nap, plus. And that's how I have to do it now.
Okay. I like that. Sunglasses.
I know. I learned it. If you feel lame doing it, guess totally. I learned it from George Russell
Lieberman?
from F1. George Russell, Mercedes. He was like, yeah, if you ever see me with sunglasses in the airport, I'm just like trying to trick my brain that it's nighttime. I'm like, genius. So now,
genius.
So you're not lame. You're like a F1 driver. Performance. Professional.
Naturally. I love it. So, okay. What's your hot take then?
My hot take. Whoop sucks. The activity tracker, I'm convinced it is just meant for finance bros to talk about useless numbers that they love to do. And that's the only people it's meant for. I've been testing it for a week, and I'm sorry if you love it. I'm still going to give it a few more weeks, but it's stupid. Don't waste your money. Don't fall victim. I hate it. I hate it.
Call me crazy. Did you not do a brand deal with them like a year or so ago?
No, never done one. I know it seems like it's in that genre. I fall in that genre,
totally
so don't blame me. I got the Element, the AG1, 8 Sleep. You're like, hey, whoop, sponsorship any day now. They did reach out once, and I'm not going to lie, I missed the email. So I dropped the ball there. But maybe I subconsciously knew I would hate the product.
Honestly, though, I got a Whoop as well, like gifted, and I gave it to Michael. And he didn't like it either because, one, you have to pay for the membership.
It's so expensive.
And it's like, you might as well like get an Apple Watch that tells you, or an Aura ring. Like he loves his Aura. Well, he doesn't use it anymore, but he used to love his Aura ring.
Yeah.
But I see where he thought the Whoop like wasn't worth the hype. It didn't really benefit him. So I think, I don't even know where he put it. So I definitely see, and at least you're being honest about it. I think that's good.
Full review coming, and I can see there's some people that will like it. But as like comparing to Aura, not even close. And I did the math. An Aura is going to cost you $400 up front, $7 a month, which sucks. But over, I think 2 years, that's $500. A Whoop, even though it's free off the start, over 2 years is going to cost you $1,200. So they get you. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's free up front, just $40 a month. Boom. Could have bought a car.
Oh, you buy the Whoop with the $40 a month?
Yeah, there's like the ugly black band is free, and like they send it you free, but it's also like cottony, so you have to replace the band. Like every night I'm going to bed, it's not like a silicone Apple Watch you can clean. It's like gets wet. So like going into my bed with it already, I'm like, ugh, this is
icky,
disgusting. Yeah. So Whoop.
Wow, I have friends that invested in Whoop.
They're probably making crazy money. They have every professional athlete, Michael Phelps, every NFL player, every golfer. Like they're clearly making good money.
Got into a round of funding, and he had never even tried it. I know.
Finance bros. I don't blame
Finance bros right there. I was like, bro, come on.
See?
But then I told, like, Michael was like, I actually don't really like it. And he was like, damn, well, the numbers speak for itself. And we were like, fair.
See, financiers, they just want to talk about numbers. They couldn't care less. They're just like, numbers, strain score.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell is this strain score? It doesn't even track your steps. Like,
really? Wow.
It's so many missing things. Also, last night, it didn't track my sleep. It just was like, you didn't wear it last night. I'm like, I wore it. So I had to use my Aura data to implement it in there. I'm like, no.
Good for nothing Whoop.
Aura's for the
girlies.
Love
the name, though. I love it.
It is
Whoop.
nice.
Whoop.
It actually, in theory, it's nice. Reality sucks.
Speaking of things that you would and wouldn't spend your money on, guess where I went shopping when I was in New York and Arizona?
Where I would or wouldn't? Where would I not
Just
spend
guess.
money?
One place that you would.
Oh, I would? Lulu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I had shopped at Lulu, I was with you in Texas.
Flattered.
And you literally were like my personal shopper. And then I literally found their like flagship store or whatever in New York. I found these joggers, and I was kidding with when I was in Arizona, my mom liked my tennis dress, and she was like, oh, I really want that. I was like, oh, it's at Lulu. And I'm not gonna lie, these things are pricey. It was like $150 for the tennis dress, but it's I've already worn it like every day. I live on an island. I wear dresses every day. So she ended up getting it, and I ended up getting extra joggers in the sports bra. And I was like, oh, I just had to get it. It's a need, like as a joke. But these joggers, you guys, I'm so obsessed with. I got 2 pairs of them, and it's like these slouchy, baggy joggers, and you can cinch the bottom. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, they're the dance joggers. They got the pocket.
Yes, dance joggers.
Yeah, yes. I got 2 pairs of them. They're
what
like
colors
so
did you
chic.
get?
I have actually, I think I have more than 2. That's embarrassing. I have a light blue, and I have a black, light blue and a black.
Okay, yeah, because right now I'm wearing the black because it's lightweight, so I can actually. I hate wearing only shorts in on the island. So
yeah,
because then I don't want sometimes to get sun. So like these are so lightweight. The green ones make me feel like Kim Possible.
Definitely.
I'm obsessed, and the like sizing's odd. So if you go like if you're anyone trying to buy it online, like beware, because I think I was an extra small where I'd typically be a small or a medium.
Mm-hmm.
But like that was one thing they helped me with, where they're like, oh yeah, we kind of messed up on the sizing.
They definitely fit big. Now that I think about it, they definitely do. They just came out with this other version of them. They're meant as like almost trouser looking. They're not those ones. Yeah, I'm like so intrigued. So I'll let you know. Advantage of being in Vancouver is we actually have like the flagship Lulu. So usually everything's there like a week before every color. So I will go to Robson and test it and let you guys know.
I got this cute like bralette, kind of low impact bra. And then I didn't know the Align bras. I love the scoop neck. I lost it. I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy another because I love to wear it. And they were like, oh, we changed it to a V-neck. I'm like, the hell? I don't want a V-neck bra. My titties are going to be falling out.
True. Now I know the one you're talking about. It is V-neck.
I still bought 2 colors. But I was like, bring back the scoop neck. And you know what? Millie was wearing the scoop neck the other day. And I was like, where'd you get that bra, ma'am? Where'd you get that bra? I know, because she was at my house. Yeah, I was going to go and be like, hello? I'm missing the black one. Is it yours?
I've definitely had, and I don't have a sister, so I'm sure like this happens to sisters all the time. But the amount of times my friends like, just like, you'll show up to workout class and you'll be like, wait a second. I was missing that exact same top for the last 4 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Keltie, like, Michael's sister. Yeah, I steal her stuff all the time. It's an ongoing joke that we steal each other's clothes. And like, I'm not even apologetic about it. I'm like, if you're not wearing it in this moment, it's mine. And like right when I was dating Michael, maybe the first 2 years, she was living with him. And she was like, yeah, wear whatever you want in my closet. And I specifically remember this one Nike zip up. I was like, can I take it to school? And she was like, yeah, of course. Because we were the same size. I never gave it back to her. Gave it to my mom. And Keltie, like, we were all 3 hanging out one day. And she was like, is that mine from like 4 years ago? And I was like, yeah.
Yep.
But you always have to give the love back. So that's the rule in sisterhood.
It's a sisterhood of traveling pants. It just keeps going round and around and around.
Yeah, but I'm on high alert when she's at my house because I'm like, what are you going to steal?
It's like, you know how like when you go to the bar, they check your bags? You check your friend's bag before they leave. Sorry, I just got a little security check.
No, actually, that's what we do.
Yeah, classic. But speaking of classic, should we jump into the hot topics on the agenda today?
Let's do it. Yeah.
First up, it's not fitness unless we're talking about Ozempic. Everything's Ozempic this, Ozempic that, cheap versions, and there's a new hot topic, and it's the new labeled poor man's Ozempic. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So now they're calling Psyllium husk. Is that how you say it? Psyllium husk. Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, it's been dubbed the poor man's Ozempic. The fiber supplement is suddenly getting a lot of attention. But what is Psyllium husk, and does it actually act like Ozempic? First, it does rely. It's a fiber supplement, so it gives you constipation relief, blood sugar management, like Ozempic, lowered cholesterol, because fiber overall does all that. It keeps you satisfied and full, just like kind of Ozempic does. If someone is making other changes to nutritional intake or their exercise routine and using Psyllium husk as part of that, can be supportive of weight management because of the impact of fullness, blood sugar regulation. Carrie Gann said, a registered dietitian. But this is kind of what they're saying. Ozempic, obviously, a lot of people that have weight issues, it can be beneficial, but it's expensive and not everyone has health insurance. So they're deeming Psyllium husk as the alternative. What are your thoughts? Have you used it? Up, down? What do you think?
Did they have a certain brand that they've been using?
They just said Psyllium husk as in general.
Okay. Because I've definitely used it in the past for having problems. And honestly, I can't remember if it was like a life-changing situation. I think I would use it when I would travel if I hadn't gone to the bathroom. I do find it a little odd if it's essentially just a laxative. So it's like, in a sense, right? Like, isn't that the way you're describing it? Because it's supposed to help relieve constipation and things like that.
I guess the difference between like a laxative and Psyllium husk is just like pure fiber. Like it is a root, or like ground down, kind of like flaxseed. It's kind of like flaxseed. But what it does is if you want to know what it does, put it in some water and you'll see what it does. And it becomes like a gel almost.
So okay, this is the one I do buy. It's oh my gosh, it's orange. Girls will know this.
Metamucil.
Metamucil, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like I find it kind of a stretch to call it a poor man's Ozempic.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, what do you think? I feel like I'm not that educated on this.
I guess my thought would be like, in theory, Ozempic. Whoa, got a party in the back.
Sorry, let me shut my door. You continue.
And it was all talk for a second. So
we've got
Facilium
some what's it called? Maintenance
party.
In the house.
So pretty much fiber, what it does is it slows the digestion of food, keeping you fuller longer. It also bulks up your how do I say it very eloquently? Your number 2. It bulks it up and allows things to just be more regular without getting into too much detail. And that's what fiber does. Fiber keeps you fuller, keeps you more regular. What does Ozempic do? It gives you the feeling of fuller and helps balance blood sugar. So you're not hungry, in essence, because your stomach feels full and you're not having these crazy rise and spikes of blood sugar, which is exactly what fiber does. Now, fiber is not going to do it to the extreme as a pharmaceutical, but yeah, Facilium Husk just does that. But it's one of those things where people use it and it can be a game changer. And it's kind of like, if you're someone who's not going to eat fruits and vegetables, no matter what, it's better than nothing. But it's probably better to just like learn to appreciate fiber in your diet and just like a lifestyle change, and learn to appreciate high fiber fruits and vegetables and carbs and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, it kind of is, but it's not going to work to the extreme. But you know what I mean? But if you're someone who has, like, it's not going to help you with diabetes, for example, but it might help just like regular you. But so I'm like, definitely try it. Do you know what I mean? It's like not harmful, and it's not a laxative in the sense like laxatives. The problem with them is like they force your body to like let things get out. And because of that, it's almost like wearing an ankle brace. Over time, the ankle brace will make your ankle weaker because it's no longer relying on the muscles. It's relying on the brace. And that's the problem with laxatives. You rely on the laxatives, not this. But this isn't that. It's just really concentrated fiber. Once again, I'm not a registered dietitian. That's just what I've been told by registered dietitians. So consult one before you make any lifestyle nutrition changes. But just like, even if you read the back of Metamucil, this is kind of what it does.
I also think people that have IBS should be careful because too much fiber fucks you up. So
fiber's a tricky one.
It's so tricky.
When vegan and like plant-based diets were super in, like I'm pretty lucky I have a naturally high fiber diet because I just grew up with it, so it's quite normal. But I remember when I went vegan, I was like suddenly not eating meat, and I was eating these like vegetable-based proteins that are really high in fiber. I don't think I went for like 3 days. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like a fine line. Fiber is not like more is better. It's like none will make you constipated and too much will make you constipated. You have to figure out that like happy medium for yourself.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. But let me tell you, that gel, like you have to drink it so fast because that is just so gross looking. The first time I took it, I like got distracted, went somewhere, and I was like, what is this in my cup? Ugh, it's so gross.
Oh, I remember once I went through like a little phase, I think when I was in my early 20s, because I heard it was healthy in fiber. So I throw it in smoothies, and exactly. It's fine if you drink the smoothie right away, but you leave that smoothie around too long.
Ooh, yeah, I wouldn't take it daily. It's like if you're struggling, you haven't gone to the bathroom in a while.
It's one of those, you're like, wow, I'm not eating any fruits and vegetables this week because I'm traveling and eating hot dogs. I'm like, that's a good time to probably use it.
And eating hot dogs. You know, I have a little confession with this. After I got my boob job, so this doctor that I went to was not very informative. I honestly regret how he handled a lot of that stuff. But he didn't tell me like, hey, maybe take some fiber supplements because you get constipated, right? I didn't go for like 4 days. I'm freaking out at this point. I'm like, I call up my friend Riley. I'm like, Riley, I need you to get me something for this. Like, because I couldn't move. She's like, God, say no more. So she goes to the store. She finds something. She comes out to my balcony. I'm on like the 3rd floor on this apartment. And she's like, couldn't get in. I literally couldn't open doors the 4th day, like, or maybe it was the 3rd day. And so I was like, I don't know how to get you in. And so she's like, I'm just going to throw it up to you. I'm like, okay. She throws it up and it lands on the 2nd floor's apartment. And I'm like, oh God. And it's obvious, you can read what it is. And I'm like, oh God. So then I finally get down to the second floor and this girl opens it and I was like, hey, this is kind of awkward, but medicine's on your balcony. Can you go get it? And she was like, oh yeah, no worries. And she gets it and she reads it. And she was like, oh, she goes, I got a breast reduction. I feel you. And I was like, oh. And
thanks.
like, honestly, we became friends. She was a really nice neighbor.
Okay,
but
it worked
we would
out.
joke that Sav had her poop pills and that's how she like became my friend. Was literally Riley just, I don't know why we thought she could aim for the third floor, but I was on drugs, so I had an excuse. I don't know what Riley felt overconfident with throwing it.
I respect it. It's like, she's like, I got this, and sometimes we all need to be humbled.
Absolutely.
Now, sadly, speaking of being humbled, we all are. For our next headline, Molly May and Tommy Fury have broken up. And this is not fitness related, except I guess like Molly May sometimes works at Gymshark and Tommy Fury is a boxer, but really they're just influencers. And they're like influencer royalty. So did you ever watch Love Island? Did you ever consume any of their content? Do you have any skin in the game?
I've never seen their Love Island. I've seen him fight. And like I've seen her, like I've had her collabs sent to me, which are really cute. But no, I'm not a big Molly May. I just don't know who she is. But I do, like, I've heard this in the press because I guess they had this really, romantic start being from Love Island, and they have a kid, don't they? One kid?
Yeah, Bambi, named Bambi.
Oh, cute. Oh,
right? Isn't it the cutest name?
I know. That breaks my heart. But, you're a fan of her. What do you think?
I'm like heartbroken because I won't lie. I was like just a Molly May fan. Like I'm not a Love Island girl. Wasn't a Love Island girl. I saw her photos on Instagram. I'm like, this girl is so cute and like chic, but relatable, but then like comfy. And I just like followed her and just became semi-obsessed with her. And then people I was also obsessed with were even more obsessed with her. And then I started watching her YouTube. And then like he was kind of in the back and I was like, oh, who cares? And then I found out they were on Love Island. And then my girlfriend Ash loves Love Island. She kind of started mentioning it. So yeah, about 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch Love Island. And I went back and watched it and I became obsessed only for them to break up like 3 months later after like my pure obsession. It was so cute. Like I can see why people are so obsessed. But also, I'm just going to throw it out here. You didn't watch it, but like it was Love Island. They're dating a bunch of people at the start. Yeah. And he was a little asshole, a little like he had a wandering eye. But then in my mind, like I remember rewatching it, it felt so icky because it was like watching your dad, because I knew they were together and like madly in love. So I remember like watching him like eye another girl and it was like weird. I'm like, no, you're not, that's cheating. But it wasn't. Yeah. So, but now like I'm looking back, I'm like, because in it made it seem like he was like, oh, it was just while they're dating. Now he's all eyes on Molly, love my life. And it was the cutest thing. But now I'm like, oh, was it? I don't know. I don't want to start rumors. I know nothing, but I'm very upset. I'm upset.
No, that is sad. I feel like those shows would be so hard to go on and have a functional relationship after.
100%.
Because it's not normal for you to see your partner like flip-flop like that. Like I would be truly the worst to go on that show. I think it just people that are really open-minded to that, like props to them.
Crazy.
Because I think I'd just be crying all the time.
Just think of like when you first start dating someone, you're usually talking to a bunch of people. Like that's just super common. You're talking to a bunch of people, you're going on dates, and then eventually you see someone, and so is a common, just normal relationship. But that talking to a bunch of people is public for everyone to see. And like in my, like people take it so heavy, be like, oh, how did you talk? But I'm like, that's what everyone does, as bad as that sounds.
But I also think there's some like naive to that when ignorance is bliss, when like you said, you can't see it.
Exactly.
So like even if you and Megs were talking, Michael and I, like I didn't ask him if he was seeing anybody else when we first started seeing each other. So in my mind, I'm like, you had only eyes for me. You didn't even look at girls, right? Like I can't imagine having to sit there. And then what if they don't choose you? Yeah. It's so gross. It's like, but I mean, it works for some people. Definitely. There's you're not watching The Bachelor, are you? The Bachelorette?
No, I'm not.
There was this one guy that he was so hot. All my friends and I were like, Jen, The Bachelorette, like bring him to Fantasy Suites. Absolutely. He would open his mouth though, and we were all like, no. He sounded like a player. The most recent episode I watched, oh my God, this man it was like he was like taking lines from books. And like she ended up sending him home because she was like, dude, you make no sense. Like, you're just really hot. Like, it was so cringy to watch. But it's just like, these shows are so entertaining. And then imagine him trying to find somebody after. And that's like what he's pegged as, is like this player that was just like, had a lot of sexual chemistry with her, but not a lot going on when he was talking to her. It just sounds miserable.
It sounds miserable. And you don't know how you're going to be edited, lines. I'm like, that is a fear. That is a fear.
Yeah.
But props to anyone that does it.
Did you ever get like contacted by Love Island?
I've been contacted by dating shows, but never Love Island. What ones was it?
I feel like I would always get those. Like a few years back, just because I'm quite private with Michael, and they just like don't check my stuff all the time. So I think they thought I was single, and I would always say, oh, I'm, I think we were just dating back then. But even if I was single, I don't think I could have done it. Like, it's so, I am way too awkward. Way too freaking awkward. Like the fact I met Michael when I did and ended up dating him blows me away, because I was so innocent and naive and like had my own problems. And I just, I can't imagine projecting that on TV.
I don't know. It just, even like, they're all games. So they all have to play a bit of a game and like be okay with it. And even like date all other people. I give them props.
You have to be a cool girl. That's what you have to be. And I'm not.
To, like, peak. Just like, like especially ones like the perfect match and all that, where you just have to be like okay with them making out with other people, and like that's part of the game, and talking to other people, and you have to go, and also you have to be like a character, but you have to be yourself. Like, it sounds exhausting.
And you have to be like super sexual. I'm just like, oh my God. I would literally be like, let me wear my florally like overalls, and I just would be like, oh God, I don't think I stand a chance over here.
I feel that in my soul. I'm like, so you know what? That not for us. And
like, I like to read fantasy books and go to bed at 9. And then everyone else is like, yeah, let's go make out and drink. I'm like, oh God. But I bet you make good girlfriends.
That's where I was like, Love Island looks so fun. I won't lie, in the sense that like, and I'm sure it's not, there's a lot behind the scenes that's miserable, but it's just like 2 months in Spain, like just enjoying with friends. Fun. But then like,
you just have to tolerate
if it works
the boys.
out. Yeah. Which, who wants to do that?
Also, side note, have you not seen It Ends With Us in theaters?
Oh, I just saw it on Saturday.
What did you think? You didn't even put it in.
Oh, I didn't even think to put it in. I don't even know why.
Have you read the books?
I didn't read the books. I just watched the movie. So,
but you like the 2
girls
movie?
I went to, I did. There was parts like, I don't want to spoil things. There's things I liked, things I didn't, things that I thought were like tied up, and it's hard to compare it to the book. So I'm just watching it after a full person. But you went and watched it, right?
Yeah, I went and saw it with my mom and my godmom, and my mom and I both have read these books.
Yeah.
So I read it the week of because I wanted it fresh in my mind.
Nice.
And I thought it was cute. They missed out on a lot. I don't think in books, especially when I feel like the way that they're promoting this is really weird. Like Colleen Hoover has like nail polish in Target for it, and I'm like, that's super weird. This is a domestic violence movie. Like, but like, I did think Blake Lively was stunning in it. And the one thing that I thought was so weird, and I was like, does anyone else think this, is how they would dress her, where like she wore fishnets and that 2-piece, and then she got into pajamas. I'm like, we all know none of us would sleep in fishnets. We would be like, I'm going to go change. But like, it looked hot in the scene. But
True.
I did see somebody post on TikTok and validated, like, what kind of girl does that?
I will say though, it was their first night sleeping together. And I do think like the first night you like sleep with someone, you're trying to make an impression. Like, I think I would just be like, it's a bad sleep. Like, I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to
sleep in fishnets.
Yeah, for the like first night, if I was like, you know what, I'm looking kind of hot, I would. But if by the second, third night, I'm like, just kidding, that was a one-time thing. Enjoy it in your memory.
He's like, you're perfect. You like come out zit cream and everything. You're like, wait, what?
Right.
But I mean, sorry. It could have been, she's a woman. She could have just literally worn his shirt and he'd think it's hot. So
fully.
But I was just cackling because I'm like, come on. That's going to cut off circulation if they're super tight.
True.
What if you have to pee? You have like 3 layers.
You know what? Sometimes a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
That's true. That's true.
My 2 pet peeves of it, like I thought it was good. And I don't want to say my favorite part because it gives away the end, but I did like how like it wrapped up. I thought it was really well wrapped up and like the flashbacks. Yeah, it felt like very tied on a bow. Kind of nice, but I come as the biggest Blake Lively fan. Love her to death.
Me too.
I do know one part of the movie or the book was the age difference. And I feel that was like complete because the whole thing is like a power dynamic. He has this power over her. And that goes completely over anyone's head in the movie. It just looks like oh, she's kind of cute. She might have been a little nerdy in high school, but now she's this hot thing. And like they seem like on the same level. She's just not rich. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the book, that's like not saying like I want to see a man go for a younger girl, but like in the book, she's 23 and Blake Lively is 23. So it was like that. I feel a few parts of the book like that were kind of lost.
Also, she like when she was a high schooler with Atlas, she was like 15. So she was younger. So she was like, they made her look really like, I don't know, confident in the movie when she was younger, and she was not. It's like more realistic in the book of how you be when you're 15.
Yeah, I was going to say it was like she seemed like too powerful, which I know, like I love that, but like that was like took away the message from everything. Yeah, so that was a little pet peeve.
Do you think they'll do a sequel?
Is there a sequel movie? I mean, book?
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, Colleen Hoover, I already read the book. So she wrote this second book. She wasn't going to. And then Book Talk on TikTok was like begging her that they were like, please, we just want to like read more about them. And so she did it. But it's not like a crazy book. It's not like a thriller. It's actually like quite peaceful. So it's like in A Court of Thorns and Roses, there's a book like this where it's like you could literally not read it and nothing would change in the storyline. It's like that. So I was like, I don't know how they'd make it a movie because there's nothing dramatic. They'd have to change it drastically to make it like a thriller or make it like not as just happy. Yeah. But I thought it was good. I thought it was quite realistic, like the second book on what would be reality once you have a kid with somebody like that.
It's so funny you say that. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, it's so funny you say that because someone spoiled something about this movie. And so I was kind of waiting for the spoil, and the spoiler didn't happen. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I didn't hear that. But now what you're saying, I'm like, oh, it happens in the second book. And I don't want to give it away because I don't want the spoiler to happen. Actually, no, I'm not going to give it away. But it makes sense now.
It makes sense. Like, everybody just please go see it.
Yes.
Yeah. But sorry, you can move on. What's your next headline? I derailed you.
Next headline. Let's jump back into it. But that was important. That should have been a headline. So thank you for inserting it. I completely forgot, which is a bad sign. You know what I mean? It hasn't consumed my personality, which is a sign maybe it wasn't that great. But I found this article, and it's older adults are revealing things Gen Zers may not realize severely impact them as they reach their 40s. And this is some of the best advice they've heard in a while. So I thought it'd be fun as someone in between. We're not an early 20s. We're not a young Gen Zer. We're not an older millennial. We're somewhere in the middle. And so have we started these things? Like, you know what I mean? I feel that's like, oh, we should have started. So I wonder if these are hot or not in your mind.
Okay.
Number 1. Your hearing. Loud noises over time is bad and not fixable. Have you ever thought about like loud music, playing your music too loud, things like that?
All the time. I think about that all the time. What's the purpose of that one? It's just like Gen Z people don't?
Yeah, like I just think of myself and that's definitely saying I would just like stand beside speakers at nightclubs and leave the bar, ears ringing, and be like, oh yeah, it was a great time, ears ringing.
Well, we were the grandmas at Taylor Swift that put earplugs on.
And now we're in the middle. We're in that crossovers. We're starting to realize what Gen Z isn't doing, and we're slowly becoming the 40-year-olds. Taylor Swift,
I never like on my AirPods. I never like have it to the full volume. I like try to like in my mind. I'm like, that will stop it. That'll show my ears. Like I care for them.
There's nothing funnier than getting the Apple notification, like loud noise environments, leave or something like that, and you're in like some super ambiguous. Do you ever get that?
No.
Oh,
what is that?
I guess there's like Apple has this like notification that comes on your Apple Watch. And honestly, you don't live in a city, so it probably doesn't affect you. And it's like, it will warn you if you're in like something super loud that could cause hearing damage. And it just pops up all the time because, you know, if some crazy like siren goes behind you and stuff like that. So case number 32 of why living in a city will slowly kill you.
Wow. Yeah, I've been in New York and it's never even done that. Maybe it's like something you have to toggle on.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
On. Definitely not a Canadian thing. If anything, more of an American thing.
Okay.
Next up, skipping the work needed to sustain relationship. Friends in your 20s come easily. Friends in your 40s take up as much effort as a part-time job. What are your thoughts there?
Can you rephrase that? Can you say it again?
So kind of like you need to put in the work if you want to sustain a relationship. So in your early 20s, it's easy, but come the time you're in your 40s, having a friend is a part-time job.
I actually do agree with this in the sense of like, especially friends you've had for so long, you have to do like check-ins and like, I don't think relationships come that easy as you get older because you get busy and like you have kids or you're married or you're visiting family. Like I know like I actively have to reach out and I've let people go that I just like don't care to actively try because it's too hard to do all of them. What do you think?
Oh, fully. Like I just in the last few years have definitely even felt that. Like so many friends moving to different places, and it might be as simple as like, and it goes both ways. Like some friends like we need to hang out more, and you feel bad, but then like they also have to learn we're adults, we can't hang out every day like as much as you'd like to. Like they have responsibilities, but at the same time, that doesn't mean like you can just throw your friends away. So it's like learning that balance. And like I know for me and our girlfriends, it's like a once a year girls trip, and like we depends how much money we all have and can save up for us, like stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's just like, you have to be so much communication, and like thank God for FaceTiming and group chats though.
Oh yeah. And just I always voice memo with my friends or just even a simple like thinking of you guys. Like I think that goes a long way. Have you heard that saying where like if you stop reaching out to somebody and the friendship dies, then it's like your answer of that it was just you that kept it alive?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's friendships as you get older have to be reciprocated. Definitely. And like if somebody doesn't do that, I'm pretty much like I just don't have time for you. But like to always reach out. But if they mutually do it, I think that's a great relationship.
True. Those are the ones worth it. And even if it's not like quantity, it's like the quality. You know what I mean? It's just like remembering those little things and whatever works best for you. Now this one, hot or not. If you're going to buy a home, buy it as soon as you can. The value will increase immensely in most cases. And I want to say F off 40-year-olds. That sounds nice. Like, you want advice? Like, buy it sooner. It will increase in value. We can't afford to buy a home right now. I was like,
that is so old school thinking. But like, I get it to an extent. I definitely get it. If people feel like they're throwing money away, renting, I completely understand if they want to own something. Because most of the time you can, increase the value in your house depending on where you live. So I can kind of see that. But I mean, they're not thinking of the down payment, the mortgage, the HOA, whatever it is that you're buying.
And it all depends, like, location. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you are able to own a home, and that's great. And not to be all like, oh, it's easier for you or anything. But, like, I also live in, like, Vancouver. Like, if I wanted to own a home, I got to move to Edmonton. Just, like, the cost of it, like...
Grant Cardone, he says buy to rent to live. It's like a rule of thumb he has. So
I've heard that.
Buy and you lease it out, and then you rent for your own house.
I mean, it's one of those things. I'm like, it is great advice. I'm not going to deny it. And if you can do it, do it. But me over here being like, cool, I can buy a studio apartment for $1.8 million in downtown Vancouver. Sounds lovely. I'll just put it on my card.
Amex points.
So it's one of those like funny ones. Like, thanks for the advice. Yeah, so easy.
Yeah, right.
Take care of your body best you can. Everything begins to break down. And how being in the midpoint, how do you feel about that?
Oh my God, I 1000% agree. I think what I really like about fitness, and I've always really liked this, is you can't lie and you can't hide in fitness. Like there's the influencers that Photoshop, whatever, that's on them. But if you see somebody in person and they're fit, they put the work in, they're eating healthy, whatever it is. It's just like you cannot lie about it. True. So I think that's true when it comes to as you get older, I think like what your body, how you treat it is like a self-reflection of how you feel about yourself and like what value you see within yourself. So for me, I don't think it's vain to want to feel or look young. I think it's like a form of self-respect to be like, I want to be running when I'm older. I hate when people are like, I'm too old to do this. I'm like, it's a joke, like, oh, I don't like to club, whatever. Like, but when they're like, oh, I can't walk up the stairs because I'm too old, or I'm going to embrace this because I'm too old. I'm like, no, like you can, I have plenty of friends, and even my mom and my godmom that I was just with, they're in their 60s and they don't act like that at all. So I think it's true. Long story short, that's a topic that really bugs me. So
but I fully agree with you. Like I just found like, I feel it's painted that like 25, it's all downhill. And like, I do have friends and like people I know who have definitely embraced that. Like, so, like, I'm so old, I can't do this. Like my metabolism's so slow, and like health things can come up. Like I'm not going to deny like diseases can come up. And we're not talking that. We're just talking like a healthy average person getting older is like, I've learned you just can't rely on youth, but you can stay super youthful. You just have to put in the work. Like, I don't feel I haven't felt that downward in like 8 years. And it's been like 8 years since I turned 25. And like, I haven't felt it. Like, if anything, I feel better each year, but it's just because I've weight trained, did cardio, do my mobility. So every year I still feel like I'm getting fitter, and I'm sure there gets to be a point. But like you said, I just don't like that idea of like just accepting like, oh, it's age and that's it. I'm like, no, you're not growing still. Like when you're under 18, you can just not stretch and you'll be fine. But like,
yeah.
So that's why I was like, you can't rely on youth, but that doesn't mean it's downhill.
Yeah, totally.
Next one, just short and simple. Sleep debt. What are your thoughts on sleep debt?
Wait, what? First
sleep
you said
debt.
Slut. And then
I said slept. I slurred. Sleep debt. Sleep debt.
Oh, like sleep when you're dead.
No, debt. DEPT. Debt.
Sleep debt. Like you're not getting enough sleep?
Oh, do you know what sleep debt is?
No.
Oh, it's like the concept of, say you're supposed to sleep 8 hours a day. That's what you need. And you only slept 7 for a week. You'd have 7 hours of sleep debt. So every day it's like 1 hour, and it like adds up over time. And then, so it's kind of like an accumulation of not getting enough sleep.
And my thoughts on that?
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Multiple days. Like, do you feel that's a thing when you're like multiple days of like no sleep, that it catches up on you? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I feel like I'm somebody that has to sleep consistently. So I will not compromise this. Like the fact I did the red eye, I'm going to bed and I guess I'm trying to catch up on sleep so I feel normal. Because I feel like sleep resets everything. And I don't want to get sick and things like that. So yeah, I mean, prevent it as much as you can. When people are like, sleep is like, I'm thinking sleep is for the dead or whatever. Yeah, to an extent. But if you like go into a vicious cycle of like not sleeping and not prioritizing yourself, like I train a lot of girls where they struggle with consistency. And to me, I'm like, literally your one sole job, if a lot of them don't have children yet, is to make sure that you are treating your body right. Nobody can do that for you. Literally, that's what's so cool. No one's going to do it. It's just you. So prioritize your sleep, prioritize eating healthy, prioritize working out, your happiness. Because I do think it will catch up to you, and then you'll be like, oh shoot, how'd I get here?
It's one of those funny ones. It's like, I've read in Matthew Walker's book, is like, you can never catch, like any sleep debt you accumulate, you never actually can make up. Like you can just kind of get back on routine, but like the damage is kind of done. So like you said, it's like, I try not to stress about that. It's true. It's just like the best, you like sleep as much as you can. That's why I hate the Whoop. It calculates your sleep debt. So I'm already like 3 hours, because I only sleep 7 hours a night. Like that's as much as my body needs. I can't sleep more. And it's already like, you're 3 hours in sleep debt. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm just chronically going to be in sleep debt. Thank you for making me hate myself. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I was like that. It's a thing, but the jury's still out. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, just get enough sleep. Best you can.
Yeah, I agree.
And then this one, a nice little just story to wrap it up. Benefits of fitness. My father started exercising regularly in his 40s. Nothing extreme, just consistent. He's now 87 years old and is still in great shape. All of his doctors agree that the reason he's in such good health is because he started exercising regularly. On the flip side, he has to deal with a lot of losses, including my mother, but he's just been able to, like, even though through that, just with working out and all that. So like the benefits of exercise as we age. And I know you train people of different age groups and all that? And like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I agree. I think that's like quite straightforward, that you need to resistance train. You need to do some form of cardio. You just need to get movement in general.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, your body will totally break down. And like, there's nothing worse than when you see somebody at those high school reunions and they didn't take care of themselves, you know? And they're like, well, my metabolism slowed down or I peaked in high school. I'm like, dude, no, that is not an answer. There are plenty of beautiful and handsome people that are well into their older age and they feel great. And they're, I mean, oh my gosh, my godmom's husband is 64 and he does Ironmans.
Wow. That's see? And that's why even like that last one I liked is that it goes to show, one, he didn't start till his 40s. So even if you haven't started regularly, you can be like, you what? Start now. Like anytime you start, like who cares what didn't happen in the past? You can still make great benefits. On the flip side, you can still start doing crazy things into your 80s, even if you only started. So like there's not this necessarily, you had to start, you had to keep it up. And also as you age, it's not all doom and gloom. So you just kind of have to like start as soon as you can and just keep consistent. And you could be 87, 60s doing marathons, 87 still having like independence. And so, yeah, I thought that was cool. I'm you next to me and everyone listening is probably in their 20s, 30s. Shout out if you're not. But like you're already working out. So you already have the game. This guy didn't start working out till his 40s and could do it as 87. So you know what I mean? Like pat yourself on the back. You're already doing it.
Love it.
And then we got 2 audience questions to wrap it up. Number 1, short and simple. What are your opinions on fasting?
I was a big faster for years. Oh my gosh. Michael and I really got into it maybe in the beginning of my fitness journey. And we would also do like 48-hour fasts because essentially your body's going to kill off if you have like cancerous cells, whatever it may be, if you fast, because it has nothing else to eat on but those, right? So I actually do think it's amazing. And I do recommend fasting only if people do their actual research. My pet peeve with fasting when people do it is they're just like quite ignorant to it, where they'll do like just a juice cleanse or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's sugar. Like that is not fasting, you know? So, and like, if you fast, you need salt, you need sodium. Like there's more to it than just not eating. So I think if anyone's interested in fasting, like look up some podcasts, YouTube videos on it, ask ChatGPT, like, and see the options, because you can do intermittent fasting daily, and that even helps with weight loss because you're not consuming as many calories throughout the day, in the sense of if you start eating at 6 a.m. opposed to 10 a.m., you have a shorter window. You can still eat as much as you want, but like if you don't have as much time, you're just naturally not going to, you know, consume a certain amount of calories, or just reset your body with the 24 to 72 hour fasts. So yeah, I mean, I do like it. I haven't done a fast in a really long time though. What do you think?
I think, like you said, people have to do their research. If you want to see some of the health benefits, look up someone like David Sinclair in his book. I think it's Lifespan or something. And just talks like the potential like disease prevention. Like you said, autophagy is when it like eats all the, say, cancer cells or whatever disease it is. That's kind of the belief. So look into that. But the flip side, if you're going to do it, you also should be really careful as a woman. There's also a lot of research, because most fasting research has been done on men, sadly. There hasn't been very many done on women, like everything in medicine, because we're always forgotten. And that's a whole nother topic that I could get so angry about, but I won't today. And just know a lot of the research is done on men, not women. And we were not hunters typically, evolutionary speaking. We were gatherers. Like most women were like at home, you know, picking at things, versus the men were out hunting, fasting for days on end. So there's like some belief we don't do as well, and like our hormones can be repressed if we're not eating. But at the same time, that's not proven either, because like different, like some women were hunters and like there was some women Vikings. So like evolutionary wise, we just don't know. So I just say, if you're going to do it as a woman, just be very conscious, get your blood work done, look into it, like know yourself. Like if you're a really high stress individual, if you have any former eating disorder issues, I would say like stay clear of it. But it's one of those things, unfortunately, the science isn't still out, but there's plenty of women who do it and it's life-changing for the best, and plenty of women who do it and it does the opposite. So that's why you just have to, I just say, be smart, do your research, check in with a doctor.
And honestly, when I did it, we did it for a really long time, maybe 6 years. of like a strict intermittent fasting window. And now as I've gotten older, I'm not as strict if I change up my workout routine. You know, if I want to have a bit more energy when I work out, I don't want to do the fasted workouts. So I don't think there's anything wrong with like changing your belief on it and like trying it. And if it doesn't work, or it could be a period in your life. I was much more intense with everything back then and more strict on myself, where now I'm like, if I want coffee with whipped cream before my Pilates at 8 a.m., I'm going to do it, you know, but because I did intermittent fasting for so long, my body naturally does not eat till later. And that actually has really helped me. I'm just a big snacker. So like if I start at 6 a.m., oh, you bet your bottom dollar, I'm having like 10 meals. And like, so it helps me with my portions to just figure out what I actually need for my macros, for my, you know, body just to even regulate itself. So that does help, because I am somebody that does struggle with that. So for me, it did help, but I'm definitely not as into it. I just naturally will eat a little bit later. And also I just don't have to think about it. It's like I get my work done, and then I go make my food, then I go to the gym. It's just like a nice routine.
That's perfect. I feel that sums it up. If you do it and it works for you, great. If you feel guilty because you're not doing it, that's fine. Like I feel that's got to figure out what works best for you. Which, speaking of what works best for you, our last question, what are your essential exercises in the gym?
Oh, on any day? Any
just like
given day?
You're like go-to, you're like every week I got to get these are like my golden top ones.
Okay. For my lower body, always hip thrusts. And I like front squats at the moment, or RDLs. Nice. I do them every single week. I like front squats because I feel like my depth is better. And then for upper body, shoulder press. I love shoulders. And then sprints. I always try to incorporate, even if it's once a week. I try and do sprints. I hate them. Everybody hates them. That's the point. It's like really good discipline for at least me. What is yours?
Number one, I'm going to say 90-90s. They just as even a warm up, my hips feel so much better. Just as like a good warm up, get some mobility, a plank, some core stability. I love a lunge. It's basic, but I feel in just terms of like, whether it be sports performance, longevity, you're working on like muscle imbalances because it's one leg at a time. And then underappreciated, a rows. Either like a chin up or rows, just like strengthening your back for like whether you have to pick something up or just posture, it will help with performance. So, and those would probably be like my main ones would be honestly like plank, 90-90s, lunges, and some kind of row. And I'm like, those are like my non-negotiables every week. And there could be more, but those are my what's it? GQs was essentials. What's in my bag? Those are my essentials. Yeah. What's in my bag?
What's your checklist of workouts?
Exactly. I like that. But with that, we are going to wrap up today's episode. If you guys have any questions you want featured on the episode, just DM us. Also, if you have a confession session, we can always bring that back. And if you're listening, not looking at our faces right now, we do have a YouTube where we post these videos. So you can check out Hitting the Bars on YouTube or Instagram. And thank you for tuning in.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.